on in our favor. Now we are at match point for Herc match round. This next round going in favor will mean that he continues his spot in losers, and Poseidon will be bowed out of top 8 at 7.
I don't know if Poseidon's going to go down that easily. This is do or die for him. It's time for him to tap in. It's time for him, never mind, that shield, that vest of Sub-Zero just shutting down any and all projectiles. It has to be so demoralizing that like half my tools just don't work right now.
Poseidon needs to make an insane comeback here, but I don't know if you can if you just get bumped.
Overhead, safe on the block, still his turn. Picks the axe back up, can do anything with it. Goes back throw, throwing him out of the corner. Hard to tackable. The glaive! Oh my goodness. And Herc spinning the bar to block. He is going to believe here. Oh no, he blows all of the Cyrax meter. He's going to have to do this the old-fashioned way.
Not sure what that's still plus, but he challenges, and that's going to be the 4-4.
Responding.
Everything's so much more unsafe.
Good up block, but again, Kano makes everything safer than you would think.
Best backdash in the game. I'm sorry. Best backdash in the game. I mean, it's either between Kenshi or Homelander, but it's very, very close.
Oh, and you know, even then, best pressure in the game as well. I mean, you are getting rolled. The Kano is out. We go for the down 2 anyway. We get rid of Kenshi. You're at minus less than 5 HP, and Herkuhlez takes it 3-1.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Poseidcast. With me tonight, I'm joined by a legend in the NRS community, the one and only KGE Herkuhlez. Herkuhlez, how you feeling tonight? How's it going?
Feeling awesome, man. Thank you so much for having me, Poseidon. I really appreciate you. And I was, I was just telling you a moment ago, I've been watching your Poseidcast forever, man, and I'm so honored that I finally get to be featured on one. This is amazing.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for watching, man. I've, been nice to have people on who, wanted to come on and, tell their story and stuff like that. So, before I get into my my typical first question, I wanted to ask, you were recently ranked in the most recent Mortal Kombat Top 100. I wanted to ask you how that felt to be, a member of the, one of the top 100 players in the world in competitive Mortal Kombat.
I'm honored, man. Honestly, you and Kurt, the Alphabet, everybody else that contributed to it. It's really amazing that I've had the blessing of being a part of the scene in MK1, and this is we were talking about it a moment ago. This is the furthest I've ever taken it in the NRS scene. I had the blessing of getting onto KGE in February of 2024, and everything just skyrocketed after that. I've been working with Copper, right, and Coach is amazing. He took my game to the next level, and everybody else that's at MK&J, Meezy, Mist, Bean. Arma, obviously a god, like the guy who originally got me into NRS, and on top of all that, I've had the blessing of working with all the top Kenshi gods in NA, Hayate, Mari, Red Nose, and everybody else that I'm not naming in the Sento Sanctuary, but you all know who you are, and you all my game so much. Plus, and most recently in Frosty Fostings for sharing some crazy tech. Bacon Lord, everybody, just it's incredible, and this scene is amazing. I am so glad that they announced Season 2 of Pro Comp, because we finally get an opportunity to really, really push this game to where it needs to go in year 2. So yeah,
it's really awesome. They said that the Pro Comp, we have like 10 major tournaments coming up when it felt like last year, majors were few and far between, and could some events even be considered majors? The fact that we have so many events with big prize pools, people are going to want to come out. We have people like Sonic really grinding, so that's awesome. And I'm sure, as one of the biggest grinders in the community, at least in terms of going to these major events, I'm sure you'll be at a few of those for sure.
I'm definitely feeling it, man. Bree and I just made a few announcements on Twitter that we're going to Texas Showdown, Combo Breaker, and CEO, and we haven't announced it yet because the signups aren't open yet. But we're definitely going to be making it to Evo as well this year, and awesome. God willing, we'll be able to make a few top 8s this year. My goal is to see if I can make it to Final Combat. We really want to push the envelope as hard as I can this year.
Yeah, dude, I mean, definitely a possibility. There's a lot of really good players, but they said you're definitely in that group. You're definitely there. So we'll definitely get into Mortal Kombat 1, Pro Comp, stuff like that. But what I want to ask you is, what got you into competing in like NRS games, or just you go for that?
Absolutely. So, I mean, listen, I've been playing fighting games since I was a really little kid. I mean, like, I remember playing Street Fighter 2 with my brother on the Super Nintendo. I remember being really, really young and just driving over to the Jersey Shore when I was a kid with my parents and standing in line to play Marvel vs. Capcom OG on a cab, you know, and lining up your quarters and shit, man. So, like, I've been playing fighting games since I can remember fighting games ever existing, man. So, you know, I was relatively young when I was playing Street Fighter 2 with my brother, and he was always beating my butt. My little brother, mind you, Theonidas, for anybody who was in the Injustice and Injustice 2 scene. But he would beat my butt in Street Fighter, and when I was ever able to take a game from him, my mother would chant that line from Dr. Dolittle, Hercules, Hercules. So that's how I ended up getting my that's how I got my tag name. My mom actually for beating my brother's butt. Yeah. And then, fast forward many years when MK9 came out, my brother and I obviously were playing MK9, and I tried to pick up Quan Chi and Shiva idiotically, right? I didn't understand Tier at the time, and he was playing Kenshi, and so like that was, for anybody who doesn't know MK9, that was a 9-1 matchup, Shiva into Kenshi, and I would just get my ass kicked. Finally, I was like, you know what? If you can't beat him, join him, and I picked up Kenshi at the end of MK9's lifespan, and the rest of it is history. Like. I wanted to be a Kenshi loyalist after that. And then I wasn't competing in MK9, but fast forward to Injustice 1, I decided that I really wanted to get into the competitive scene with my brother. And so we just looked up where we could go, and we heard rumblings of 8 on the Break over in Dunellen, and we made our way over there. And people, included in the roster of people going there were like Sonic Fox, Tom Brady, KDZ, right? Shout out to my goat Phil, and obviously Darth Arma, and and Miguel, took me under his wing because he was also a Batman player. I played Batman idiotically and terribly back then, and Arma is still the best Batman in the world in Injustice 1. So he took me under his wing and taught me some stuff, taught me how to compete, told me to go to more tournaments. I started going to regionals, and everything else is history, man. I had to take a little bit of breaks here and there to finish up college and law school, and then obviously to take the bar. Competed as much as I could in MKX, Injustice 2, MK11, and then here we are, right? MK1. I'm finally situated in my law practice, and I have time and a little bit of money to go out and actually make my way through the pro comp. So here we are, man.
That's awesome. That's definitely an awesome story. It's always cool to hear what got people into the community and stuff. Everyone has like a different reasoning, but everyone, starts going to the tournaments and stuff, and then usually falls in love with it from there. Never really heard someone talk about going to a tournament.
and the thing, man, is that like when I got into MK1, the very first 2 people that I hit up were Phil KDZ and Miguel Darth Arma. I was like, guys, show me where to go. Like, I want to compete. And Phil was like, no, I'm not playing NRS games anymore. But Miguel was like, yeah, man, absolutely. You need to be at this tournament right now. We're having it this Friday. Come through. I'm gonna get you sweaty, and we're gonna get you ready. And at the time, it was really small, man. It was just me, Cosner, and Darth Arma, and it was in a smaller arcade, and I got 3-0'd by both of them. And I was like, oh, I'm so ashamed. I'm washed up. I'm not where I want to be. And Cosner was like, Hercules, chill out, man. We're just playing a game. Get good, right? I'm gonna grind, man. I'm gonna grind. So
yeah, I love Cosmo.
Yeah, brother.
There you go. We definitely have bonded over mating the same character in this game. Of course, bro. And he's definitely he's a cool dude. He's very nice, but he's also very straightforward. So that's what I love about him.
He's a straight shooter, man. He's gonna tell you how it is, and he'll tell you the reptile sucks. So
yeah, I know. It's terrible. Yeah. I remember I went to NAC with optimism, I don't think reptile's that bad. He's and I stayed with him throughout the weekend, and he was just no, reptile's terrible. He just did all these things don't work. All these things are terrible. But then we got me convinced by the time NAC I was done with NAC. This character's awful.
Yeah, he was still making top 8. Man. So
yeah, right.
All right, dude, it's not that good, but you're clearly doing good. There's 2 reptiles in top 8 of NEC, so something is good.
Something's got to be going on with this character. Yeah, literally almost being rewind and stuff. Still saying the character is bad.
Bro, that step was so magical. That was Combo Breaker, man. Oh my god, that was such a good step.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about Cosmo, but I almost did too.
You did, man. You did. I think
almost.
you won. Inside you won. Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, when I watched it, you won. I don't know what happened, but something sold, and I was like,
I
love Rewind. It's just I wanted to see that.
Yeah, I got hit with wake up buttons into a fatal.
Yep.
When, like, he had like no health left. It was just like that's just like the next level of like NRS players. They just know when something's gonna work and what they have to do something. There's like that one option, they'll find it.
Yep.
So you've been competing a lot in Mortal Kombat 1. So how do you currently feel like the game is right now in terms of like the meta? Like, I feel like we're in a pretty decent state compared to, I don't think there's really anything that's like this one thing is kind of running rampant in the community. Maybe Sector Cameo, but they kind of toned that down a bit. How do you feel about the game is right now?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we went through a lot of different metas in this game, starting with like the crazy Reptile and Baraka meta all the way up until like the Pharah Homelander meta. Forget about the Peacemaker meta. I don't even want to talk about that. But this meta is interesting, man. I mean, like this is definitely a much more mixed base meta than a lot of the stuff we've had before, but still kind of balanced, right? Like not completely broken mix like when we first got the Pharah meta, and not a strictly footsies based meta like I guess what we had in the Peacemaker meta for a period of time. So this is definitely a more balanced mixed based meta, and it shows with like the stuff that's really powerful right now, right? Like you have. In my opinion, I really think Sindel is just head and shoulders above basically the rest of the cast, with maybe the exception of Ermac. I think Ermac is incredible. Also gets incredible mix. Also crazy, footsies if the matchup calls for it.
Yeah. And
then you have other crazy stuff like like Scorpion Farah still dominating. It's Scorpion Janet for the same reasons. Obviously, Havoc is just a terror, and you saw it at Frosty Fawcett. We had 2 Havocs in top 3. And just like all that mixed based stuff is still really, really strong. And it's for that reason that I reassessed my game plan after Frosty, because Frosty was really my testing ground to see if like you could play sub at a competitive level in this meta as a Kenshi cameo. And I sat down with Bacon Lord and oh my goodness. With Plus, obviously. Three. One more Kenshi right there, STG. He's going to kill me when he sees this. Rio, of course. Dude, I love you, Rio. Your name was just escaping me for a moment. I had your face in my brain. I couldn't put the name to it. And so I sat down with all of them, and we were talking about the Kenshi meta, and they were like, it's just like, why try so hard, right? Like, this is the meta where, like, you can actually get away with mixing. And it just brought me back to, there was a monthly that I was at where Pulse told me the same thing. So was Red Nose, so was Mari, so was Hayate. They're all like, play mix, dude.
Yeah.
And they showed me Frost, and I tried to devise some tech with sub to like reversal on the 1-4-1, 2-1 cancel. Yeah. And it forced Pulse off of the Kenshi matchup for a second, and then he went to Kata and just whooped my ass anyway. Yeah. But I really grinded that out, and it looks like Frost is probably going to be a really strong cameo for Kenshi. But so is Movado is giving him really good mix, especially once he's in Sento stance. Obviously, Kanimani had already exploited that Striker's incredible with him, and so a lot of Kenshis are still using Striker to fraud out Sento. So again, I think it's a really good mixed-based meta, and unfortunately, you're like, this meta doesn't necessarily require a mixed-based approach, right? And we're really just like one character decision away from moving this meta without really changing or nerfing anything over to like a very footsies based meta, right? Like if you have enough top players really consider like, okay, well, I think Ermac and Katana, right? And Katana's insane right now, by the way. If Ermac and Katana, become more mainstay in this meta, you're moving immediately to a footsies based meta. You're not going to see too much change, right? Sindel still plays incredible footsies. Kenshi can still play really good footsies, but your top 10-ish might shift around a little bit if you don't see Shao being able to to just drop the hammer and mix on you. It's like, I'm just gonna put the red law on you. But shout outs to I don't even want to give him a shout out.
No shout outs here.
You know who he is.
For Shao players.
Yep. All the Shao players, and you know what, bro? I
really enjoyed that perspective, because I feel like it just over time the meta is going to change regardless if there is a patch or not, just with more things that get discovered, because there's a lot to be explored in these games, especially with the cameo system. All of a sudden a new cameo, like they just over a span of like 3 or 4 months found a 60% Ermac Janet BNB, and now all of a sudden like there's a bunch of people playing Ermac Janet because the team's broken, and he was already a good character, but when stuff gets discovered. So yeah, no, I completely agree with a lot of that stuff in the mixed-based meta, and yeah, I think I was even telling you at Frosty's, like, if you can't get Sento on block against Reptile, like, particularly, but I'm sure a lot of characters, like, I don't know, there's no reason I should ever get hit. Like, there's no reason you should ever get close enough to me. Like, if you hit me, you outplayed me.
Yeah, and that's what I really like about where the meta is right now, is that it's there's enough variety. First of all, I don't think anything is below like A+ tier in this meta, right? As bad as I think characters like Baraka are, right? I think Baraka could very easily win a major. I think if TM took Baraka into, Evo, for example, right? And just solo Baraka all the way through, I don't see a particular matchup that is so egregiously bad for Baraka that he can easily win a major, with the right pilot. I mean, like if you look at any particular character in this meta compared to in previous metas, I don't see a character that you probably can't solo main. Again, I have my own internal biases. I'm like, well, are you really going to be able to beat Gur with, with
Kenshi?
Now, but especially with the buff, and like, I do still think that no matter what, you're probably still going to be able to solo main with every character in this game, and I think it's a really balanced meta. I'm really impressed with it, and I hope they keep it like this. Not exactly like this, but put a little spice here and there. But yeah, I love this meta. I think it's really good, and it makes the game a lot of fun. Maybe a hot take. Maybe I'm going to get fried up in the comments. I do think it's good ass meta.
Yeah. How you know? If you don't mind, leave in the chat. We're doing a podcast here. Sorry. Feel bad. Because I try to like bring people over to the private chat, but sometimes it like doesn't work. So I've just been doing it in the public one. But then we always run the risk of that. That's actually the first time that's happened. So
I like it. And listen, there's a little cameo. I got my cameo in there.
Yeah, you're talking about Baraka, boom.
Exactly, bro. The moment it came up, it's there, bro.
Yeah, so yeah, no, I really agree with you that I feel like really any character can do it, and even before like Reptile got his buffs and people were like, he's unanimously one of the worst characters of the game, I still thought I could do it. I never like felt like I can't do it with Reptile, and and I feel like a lot of people who main the lower tier characters feel that way. Even the character like Lee May, like it just hits super hard, so it's like you just got to pick your places really well. And Baraka was like, he's just strike throw, you just got to like death by 1,000 cuts. Same thing with like Raid and stuff. So every character has something that's kind of broken about them, and we'll get someone complaining about them on Twitter, be like, this character is so downplayed. It's like, I think every character's downplayed.
But that's the beauty of the NRS scene, man. I mean, like I've been here for oh my god, here we go, Dino Herc. But I have been here for a minute, bro. I remember back in MK9, holy shit, bro, people were popping off about the broken stuff in that game. It's like I just remember seeing the Yomi boys hitting people 0 to death constantly with Cyrax. You know what I mean? And it was like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna sit there and hold it, right? Yeah. I mean, like that was the game, so that's what you're gonna do. This game used to be like that, right? I mean, like back in the Peacemaker meta, right? I mean, like there was no question the Peacemaker was basically the best character in the game, and you were really only contesting with something with tighter footsies like Johnny, right? In the Homelander meta, forget about it. I mean, like my character particularly, if I was in Sento stance, he had an infinite against me. I remember Unjust doing it to Hayate with my controller at Evo, right? So I was like, bro, why did the dude not ban this? But it was, and I tried, man. I really tried to get that shit banned. But this meta does not feel like that, right? I mean, like if Sindel is our best character in the game, I think that is an extremely healthy top tier to have in this game.
Yeah, So I've been saying that. I think like when we get to the point where Sindel is like considered like the top 1 characters, when the game's gonna really have a healthy meta, and because like it's like what she has is broken, but there's counterplay to it, and she's kind of like a zoner, but zoning isn't really strong, so it's like I get what you mean.
Well, and I'm going to give my shout-outs now, although I take it back, by the way. I do love our resident shout players. But, like, I was... No Green and Dialogue have had success, right, for a long time. And I played them both. They're both incredible players, and I love them both. But they've both been sticking it out with Xiao, right? Xiao was never bad, right? But there were people who were like, even Dialogue was at one point in time downplaying Xiao. Like, I have no mid. Yeah, okay, dude. Like, come on, man. Like,
you have a low and overhead. Do you really need a mid?
Yeah, it's like you have a low and overhead, and you'd still have a mid that confirms into glaive. But I mean, like, whatever, man. It is what it is. But the character really didn't change that much. I mean, like, he got Sector cameo, I guess, right? But like, you don't have to run it with Sector cameo for the character to be insane. So it's like, the meta. I love conceptually where the meta is, and I want this thematic idea behind like a mix-based approach where you can still play footsies to remain, right? Like I think that makes that is what makes Mortal Kombat different from every other game. And It's so much fun. It really is fun.
It's that block button.
Yeah,
It really changes the complete dynamic.
No
It's like,
cross-ups, man.
yeah.
No cross-ups.
yeah, because it's like, it's mixed base, and then you have like the strike throw characters that can still do really well, and they have like a little bit of mix. It's like not true mix, but like there's ways. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of mind games to play, and the cameo system, although I know not universally loved, I enjoy it. I think it's cool. I don't know if I'm gonna miss it if the next game doesn't have it, but I think it allows for a lot of variety within each individual character, and everyone could play their own individual style, even if they're playing like the top one character.
Definitely. I mean, it's a natural evolution from what we had like in MKX and MK11, right? Where it's like you had the form system, right? It's like you had different styles of play for each character, and then eventually they were like an MK11. Okay, we're gonna unlock it. You can just do whatever the heck you want. Yeah. And this is just a natural evolution of that, right? It's like you get more characters, you get way more ways to play each character, and it gives so much more skill expression. And I mean, I was just playing Desda, right? It's the first time I ever played a very high level Ashura Sub-Zero, right? It was like, bro, I couldn't bait and punish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I, God forbid, throw out my demon drop and she happens to be putting on freaking sub armor at that exact moment, I'm getting forward to punish from full screen.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, dude. Like I would never even contemplate that line of play until like, you know, I see that skill expression. It's like, wow, that shit is so cool, man.
Yeah, and that's a super good. Yeah, it just goes to show that like all these different characters, like you can make a character work, and you just got to find the cameo that you gel with. It doesn't necessarily have to be the meta cameo, but for example, every time
you're good with it. Yeah.
Like every time I'm streaming, I have one person come in like, "Do you think Sony is better than Movado?" It's like I don't think it's better with Reptile than Movado, but I like the way I'm able to play, and I think like what I'm able to do with it, and just the fun I'm able to have with it, and I'm able to make it work. And yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the other hard thing about making a tier list in a game like this, right? It's like, because especially most recently, I've been trying to make a tier list for the past couple of weeks, and I was like, I'm telling the guys internally at KGE, like, yeah, I'm gonna return, I'll release it eventually. It's gonna, it's gonna come out. Hasn't come out, and part of the reason why is because like now there are so many cameos that are actually theoretically viable with every character that making a matchup chart within cameo usage as well. That's like there's thousands of permutations of different matchups, right? Yeah. So it's like, and I mean like literally like in the tens of thousands of various matchups that you could really contemplate there. You're not getting all of that down on a spreadsheet. You know what I mean? No. It's just not going to happen. So it's like the best you can do is like, okay, there's like 3 meta cameos, and like let me see if I can deduce how Ashura does into like the 3 or 2 Baraka cameos that you're going to see. How am I going to know, right? Like,
and that's just one matchup really of
yeah, and it's like you're never going to see them at high level, right? Yeah. It's like there's 10 majors, right? Yeah. Like you're going to see like 16. Top 16 10 different times, right? Yeah. Like you're not going to know. So it's like you can do your best to say like, yeah, I mean Sony is really, really, really good with Reptile, clearly, right? I mean like you've had insane results, Defend the North, and I should have been playing you in top 8 of Frosty Fostings, but we're not going to get there yet. It's like but yeah, I mean, like, it's just this, again, the skill expression really is unlocked by the cameo system in this game, and I also think cameos, after the Sector nerf, I will put that caveat out. Yeah. After that nerf, the cameo system is also super duper balanced in this game right now, too.
Yeah, I don't think there's clearly, like, a top one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well, awesome, man. No, I completely agree with like basically everything you were saying there. Except like with these 10 majors coming up, these top 16s, we'll probably see like every character at least once, because there's so many good players playing. Like everyone, like you can think of a top player on like every character in the game.
Definitely.
So yeah. So speaking of tournaments, you've gone to a decent amount in Mortal Kombat 1. For Mortal Kombat 1 specifically, maybe we can get to past ones if you want. What was your favorite? I would say tournament you went to, and then also what was like your favorite run, and then if you want to, like your favorite individual set.
Definitely my favorite tournament. Ironically, if we just went there, right? It was Frosty Fostings, no question.
I would agree.
And I know you can agree, man. It's like that was just such a. Bray, what was the best tournament of the year? No question, right? It's like. And she said that's not just confirmation bias. It's like she actually feels that way. And Frosty's was incredible, man. The reason why Frosty's was so good is because you had 80 top players who all felt like they were in one big family. They're like teams in a lot of ways went out the window, right? And it was just like everybody just vibing with one another, having a good time, screaming in that big auditorium where we're all just, you know, we have 4 setups and 80 top players just all hanging out, and it's like,
everyone was just so conjoined, and it was just like everyone was just together.
Like, on each other's necks, like peering over, hey, Herc, can you get the fuck out of the way? Like, dude, it was just so good. And then afterwards, obviously, the you know, at the KGE house, we had such a blast with it. And basically everybody came, you know, it was like, you know, it was just you had another, you know, set of basically like 60 top players hanging out at the KGE house, just like having a blast. We're playing sweaty casuals, and then we play the napkin bracket.
Napkin
and
was
just like,
awesome.
oh my god, it was so fun, dude. And then Mafia afterwards, just people, you know, just getting too lit. It was just amazing. It's like exactly the atmosphere you wanted, you know. So Frosty's was definitely, in my opinion, the best tournament. My favorite run, I think, has to be. You see, it's a hard one. Like, I really like the Frosties run because I knew that I was going to get into Eli, right? And I told, first of all, I've known Eli was one of the guys who tried me out for KGE, right? That was the last set I ever took from him, right? It was when I tried out for KGE. Thank God I took the set, or else I might not be here right now. But it's like, but he tried me in voice chat after. He's like, "You suck at this game, you're ass. I'm going to show you how ass you are." And I never took another set from him. It was like, that was the end. And I was like, either I am actually as ass as I think I am, or Eli, you know, BNG is a god, and he's going to show off his incredible talent to everybody at Frosties. And I was confident in it, but I really, really did not expect that crazy of a run. Right? I was like, this guy is definitely going to make top 8, but he has the potential to win the whole goddamn thing. Right? And that's why, like, you know, the way that it just panned out, where like his round 2, he was into Han Rashid and managed to take him out in you know, put him in losers. And so I had to fight Alex as Nasty again, and I love fighting Alex. You know, we're obviously very close, and he hates Kenshi, and I really hate Cyrus. You know, that's one of the teams that took me out at ECT, and you know, I got to fight Alex. I you know, I barely scratched it away and took it away from Alex, and then I had to fight Eli in winners finals, and I was like, okay, so I gotta beat BNG, and then I gotta beat Han Rashid. So in my mind, the two probably best players at this tournament, I gotta beat them both to get out of pools. And I was like, okay, well, Eli's just gonna wash me, so I'm just gonna prep for fighting Han Rashid. And those were both such incredible sets. I really had so much fun, and Eli beat my butt, you know, in front of everybody, to the point that people started walking away. They were like,
that's over.
We're hurt, man. Like, just let him go. So that run was insane. I really, really enjoyed, you know, as long ago as it was, I really enjoyed the NEC run, right? That was so much fun. Just because, like, I was finally able to, like, put my name out there in a much bigger way. And I still got to see, like, players that I really love making it really far, you know, like you obviously made it top 8. You know, Kozra was there, Competitor was there, you know, Aztec was there, and I had to fight Aztec in at Frosty Faustings too. You know, the Alphabet making it super duper far, you know, like, and obviously Mike Metroid whooping my butt in top 8 winner. Just made clowned on me to the point that I was like, I definitely don't know the Johnny matchup like that. and then Wraith winning his first major too. It was like, you know, that was an insane tournament. I really love that one too. As well. The only other one that really comes to mind is like really standing out to me is LCQ, right? And I really loved LCQ for a few reasons, right? Like, first of all, that run was so much fun to make it all the way, again, up to the Alphabet. It was a literally last touch, nail biter touch for me to make it through him to fight Mari, right? And I was actually on the car ride in with Mari and the Alphabet into Canada. We picked up Ludi, and as we picked up Ludi, I remember Mari telling me, Herc, when I see you in bracket, right? And she's like, all right, you're going to make it there, but when I see you in bracket, I'm going to show you some shit that you haven't seen before. And I'm going to beat you 3-0, right? And I was like, fuck you, Mari, you're now going to beat me 3-0, right? And he actually did it the exact way that he said he was going to do it. And the reason I really love that run is because right after that, he had to fight Hayate to make it into, I guess, 9th place, because I ended 13th, so he would have been 9th there. And And he asked me, he's like, it was 2-2. He had been going Shane the whole time because he talked to Wraith. And he asked me, he's like, Herc, should I go Kenshi Striker? That's what he had beat me with. I'm like, he called me up to coach him for that. And I'm like, fuck yes, you should be going Kenshi. So I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
What do you mean?
So he showed him the tech, and he won the set. It was such a hype set. That whole tournament was so much fun. And then obviously Gur getting snubbed. No offense to Guy, it's just like 130% combos shouldn't exist.
Yeah, right.
It's like, that should not be a thing, man. But it's such an incredible weekend. I mean, what an insane set. What an insane tournament. Those were all crazy runs, man. I loved all of them. In terms of favorite set, I know that I'm taking a minute to get through all these with you, but I honestly, I have so many crazy memories from this. From this past year. My favorite set, holy shit, that's a close one, man. There were a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
One set that really comes to mind is actually a set that it wasn't a huge tournament or anything like that. It was actually at a weekly over at our previous weekly spot for MK&J at Helix Esports. And it was a set that I had with just Meezy, right? And this is after I had already discovered him, and I was like, I could feel in the very first game that I played him, I'm like, this kid is special, like he's really good. So it was after that, it was after he got onto KGE, and it was after he had spent a lot of time grinding out Chameleon, and he was already in contention at that point for like top 1 sub in the world, and this is before he really had a string of insane tournament runs. And I remember fighting him with Kenshi sub, and he had demolished that. Like he really downloaded it to the point that it was like I couldn't do it anymore. And I turned to him and I'm like, yeah, you know what, you graduated. And I finally went Kenshi Cyrax on him back when Cyrax was still working. And I remember he was just blown away by like what the hell was happening. He's like sent him a block and baits, and he was like, okay, this is not fair. Like I really don't enjoy this at all. So that set really stood out to me because I got to like just show him like, you know what, you're insane, but like I still got some stuff for you, like some stuff for you to download, man. So that was a lot of fun. That one set was really good. All my sets with everybody from KG are always amazing though. Like those guys are the best players in the world, right? It's like, and we haven't been alive long enough as an org to really show off how insane these guys are. But I mean, like, when and this is I just want to be clear, I'm not affronting any other players of these characters, right? Like, I think Arona and Train, godlike Sub-Zeros, right? I think Meezy's the best, right? I really do, and I think that I played all those guys, and I think Meezy's the best sub. I think Mist is the best Leche, right? It's like he's the best homelander, man. He just is. He may lose to Kale in the mirror occasionally, but I think he's the best. I played them both. And I think Mist is better. I think Bean is the best Sindel on the planet, right? I mean, like if Sonic didn't exist, right, and Sonic wasn't playing Sindel, right? To be fair, I think if Sonic spent 5 minutes on Kenshi, he'd be a better Kenshi than every Kenshi in the world.
Yeah, that's like,
but and they're just playing what they want to play, right? It's like they just like playing Sindel sometimes. So it's like, but I think that I think Bean is the best Sindel on the planet, and we just had a string of crazy good pickups, like Desda and a couple of the ex-Sin boys. We just really have such incredible talent here, and having the blessing of playing with these guys. Anytime I open up Discord and I'm like, hey, who wants to get some games? These guys are like, they're really, they push the envelope, and they push me every single time I get on. It makes me better, right? It's like that's how I level up. So
that's awesome.
He's got crazy good.
No, it's cool having that family aspect of the team, because you said you guys have so many really good players, so many players that are probably going to show up in this most recent top 100. No spoilers, but definitely it's a stacked team for sure. And they said, like, in terms of like favorite set, my favorite set was probably playing Mist at ECT. We had such like a crazy back and forth set, and I ended up having like a drop that I'll blame on Reptile. I'm not going to blame myself. And swing of the times, like the 4-2-3, like they said they fixed it. So, I don't know, it whiffs sometimes. And it's just like, it was just such a. I enjoy fighting Mist a lot. I enjoy because I feel like he's just like a pure Homelander player. He does like all the Homelander stuff, and it's just like it really adds to like the layers of the game. So it's a lot of fun to play against people. But that's my personal one. But this is definitely about you. So.
No, thank you.
So KGE, yeah, you were just talking about like all the players on the team and stuff like that. Who's so obviously we just had BNG just went on like a huge run. He was kind of like I knew who BNG was, but I didn't know he was like that good. Like I knew he was good. I didn't know he was like potentially best Takeda in the world good. Like
Yeah.
So who else do you guys got kind of like in the background that haven't had a big run? Do you feel like maybe make a splash in Pro Comp or some of these online tournaments?
That's the question of the hour, right? And I don't want anybody's spot, but like, and I only listed 3 in that run that I just went through, right? But I mean, like Eli is, I think, unquestionably at this point, especially in terms of results, right? He's the best kid in the world. We have a couple of players who actually don't have an opportunity, unfortunately, based on region or connection issues to be able to play online as much, right? I'll tell you right now, I played jet ski, right? And this is coming from like I've played Javier and I played Vision and psychotically good Scorpion players, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, like I played jet ski, and there are games where I'll just go 0-20.
Yeah.
I can't even contemplate how to
Yeah.
find a neutral.
Yeah.
That's not a great matchup for Kenshi or anything, but it's like 20-0, right? It's definitely not a
That's
20-0
a lot.
matchup,
Yeah, that's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games. Kenshi is psychotically good at Scorpion. Coach, I mean, like, forget about it, right? Like, Coach is on his way to becoming the best Ghostface player on the planet.
For sure.
I mean, like, from day-to-day development at this point. And I felt bad because Coach had especially because, like, he has so many responsibilities, right? Like, at first, it was obviously coaching all of us, right?
Yeah.
And there wasn't that many of us to coach, so it was like he was already stretching himself thin trying to coach all of us. But at the same time, he was like having a character crisis and like a development crisis. He's like, I can't commit all this time to everybody and also develop myself as a player. Finally, we got ourselves to a point that it was like, okay, the coaching is like, we don't need that much now, right?
Yeah.
Like, we get how to jail things, It's
Yeah.
like, I'm ducking my high projectiles, like, I'm doing what I need to do, and he could take a back step there, and really, once Ghostface came out, he was all in on Ghostface, and it's to the point that now that, like, day-to-day development, I'm seeing Coach just rock with Ghostface, like sets that I'm having trouble touching him once.
Yeah.
Fucking oblivion. And he's becoming the best Ghostface player on the planet. It's just like, and then on top of that, right, like you have Kritis, who's just like a monster, right? Trash, who's a monster. Spino is a monster. I'm forgetting names here, but like every player on this roster has the ability to just become like the best player of their character. And that was even what we set out to do. Like I remember when I first got onto KGE, and it was such a young team, and we were talking like, we just, maybe the right thing to do is just get like the best player, one of the best players of each character, in the game, and then just have them available as like a rotating roster if anybody ever wants practice. Obviously, that created a team that grew way too big, way too fast.
Slow down too many people.
Let's like reestablish who's actually on this roster and like come to it with fresh eyes. And now we still have just like incredible players. I forgot a huge one was Woolander that we just picked up. I haven't had a chance to play him, but goddamn that run at top 8 at Frosty. Holy shit, he really showed his shit. He's another monster. Like very easily in conversations for like best one on the planet. It's like.
Yeah, I saw him beat Kerbo and Waz back to back at Combo Breaker. And Kerbo's like from my region, and so like I know Kerbo's like someone who's like taught me and stuff like that. So it was like, damn.
Well,
and then he beat Waz right after, like best player in Australia, and it was just like, okay, like this guy's good. And then he went up like 2-1 on Scorpion procs, and it was just like,
that's crazy.
Like this guy's fucking. Like, I knew he was good, but I didn't know he was like he did his belt like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's a different breed, man, and I really feel that way about a lot of the guys at KGE, and really KGE as an org really fosters that kind of environment a lot too. I stayed away from teams for a really long time when I was in the competitive scene, even back in an Injustice 1, and I was like, maybe I should look for a sponsor or like maybe make things cheaper, and let me just pay my own way, and because I don't want to be beholden to anybody or like deal with anybody's sponsorship, baloney. And even in this game, I wasn't planning on finding an org. But I was at MK&J one day, and Dark Green came up to me, and he's like, "Yo, you beat my butt really bad. You wanna call Coach and like set up an interview with him?" I was like, "Sure, man." And it's like, and then I got to hear what KGE was all about with the CJ3 Foundation and caring about mental health and just wanting to be a family, right? It's like that struck me a really a really different way than basically every other org, which just felt like, you know, either a clan feeling or just like very business and corporate or like, you know, any one of those. And it was really the fresh take that I thought would promote my skills as a player. And I was so right, you know, like I know that that's the reason why KGE has had as much success as it had. It's because like you get in the Discord and it's like all good vibes, everybody's having a good time. You know, the salt is kept to like a 2 to 3 minute rant about like you're a fraud. I'm never gonna let you feel like that again. GGs, right? That was like that's really the extent of the toxicity that you feel, and it's so unlike, you know, a lot of what the NRS scene has been known for so many years, which was like super toxic, like I'm gonna body you and I'm gonna get up and get in your face like Blizzard did, you know, and just like pull a Tweety and pick another character, you know. It's like it's just like, you know, it's just not. And I'm not saying these guys are toxic. Like they're both, you know, like they're obviously really cool. It's just, you know, or I said Blizzard, I meant Buffalo. But
Buffalo. Yeah, I'm about to say.
You know this what I'm talking about. But
100%.
That was iconic, man.
Yeah.
But it's not like that at KGE, man. It's like there's so much development and growth to be had from like a collaborative approach, and people really like. There's no tech hiding. There's no egos, right? It's like. I'm just going to get on this org and we're all going to grind as hard as we can together for the love of the game and be nice to one another about it. You know, it's like, because there are days that like, you know, I'll cook somebody 10-0 and then I'll get cooked 10-0 right after, you know, and it's like, you can't have an ego like that, you know. It's like unless you're winning every tournament from here on out, and even then you shouldn't have the ego. You're not there yet, so let's all grind, right? And it's like that's the good vibes that I really love about KGE, and it's why our org is still growing and thriving to this day. So
that's amazing. Yeah, no, it's like it's just growing more and more, and you guys are just getting better and better and becoming more and more like elite, coming up with like. Because, you know, there's like that. There's the STGs who have been around for a while, who have like all these really big name players who are super good. There's, you know, ELG, who again has all these like really good players. But you guys really seem like you're kind of approaching that, or already there potentially. If they were to do like another like crew battle league or whatever, you guys could definitely win that, like for sure. Like.
Well, listen, I'm going to spoil it a little bit. That you know, we've been talking to TLR, right? And I especially. I think it was it was the coldest. Yeah, that I you know, he invaded MK&J one day and took all our money, and ever since then we've been chatting, obviously. And another incredible Shao God, and he hit me up for you know, for a team battle with TLR. So I'll just spoil that right now. That is definitely going to be happening in the very near future before Texas. We're going to try and get some big names on comms, try and get it well promoted, and after that, we actually are planning a team battle with STG if we can get it done at Texas Showdown.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Like, it would be so cool if some of the like a lot of these things happen, especially with so many majors coming up. Like whether it's the team thing or like it's like the region thing at one of these big events where it's like one of the nights. We have like a style thing. I think that would be super cool.
Yeah, I'm really hyped for it, and I really do think. I mean, like, listen, our brothers at ELG and our brothers and sisters at STG, we love these guys, right? I mean, like, and I'm not gonna leave any org out, right? Like Sin, Oni, right? Even
DG.
Like obviously, you know, the Goons, yes, of course. I mean, you keep in mind your org, right?
Silent grinders, man.
Right? Is it kept small? Insanely top players, right? I mean, like insanely top players. Like easily could win Final Combat quality of players.
Super good players. You got Wise, King Camler, Poseidon, just top players. You know?
Dude, it's true, man. But it's true, and it's like all these crazy good orgs that are like, you know, like just as this game has gone along, and we've had an opportunity to get to know each other a lot better, right? It's like everybody's just so cool with each other, and like we're all like, you know, once you get there and you know each other, it's like everybody's sharing tech, everybody wants to talk matchups, like we're all just sweaty nerds at the end of the day.
Yeah,
it's like,
honestly.
You know, our alliances are there, but it's like, dude, I'm still seeing Wraith every time I'm going to MK&J.
Yeah,
you know? It's like it's not ELG. It's like I'm there because my buddy Wraith wants to run some sweaty sets. You know, it's like you know, so like this, it's turned away from what it kind of felt like a little bit in MKX and a little bit in MK11, where it was like, you know, like teams out to kill each other, and more
individualism,
like,
you know.
Yeah, like fraternities and sorority organizations where it's just like, you know, this is where you get your foot in the door, go and socialize, have fun, and get sweaty. You know, it's like I really like that a lot. That's turned into a lot more fun, and the individual identities of the players is able to shine so much more, especially now with like everybody's on Twitter, you know. So it's like
it's awesome.
like the I was just getting into an argument, I guess, with TM about who the best Shang on the planet is, and it's like,
I saw that.
Green, I love you. Please don't be offended, but it's like, it's like Wraith is head and shoulders above everybody.
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
Wraith. It's kind of like you mentioned, like Sonic. Like Sonic's the best in Dell, but like the thing is, Sonic is going to be the best with every character they're maining at the time. It's just the way it is. Like Faisal is to the point where he's kind of ascended like character loyalty. Like he plays a bunch of characters, and he's one of the best players in the world. It's kind of unfair because like I'm sure if we have a logical debate, there would be like 6 people who are the best with every character in the world, like Ninja, Sonic, the Twins, Faisal, like Unjust, and it's like they are all the best. So it's like people who actually are loyal to the character, they should be the ones considered who are the best.
Definitely. I couldn't agree with that more. And listen, Sonic, they can play again any character on the roster and beat your ass with them, right? It doesn't matter. So like that character loyalty really should shine, and it does really shine with certain players, right? Like when you see Mist cooking you with Homelander, right? It's like it's a different kind of cooking, right? It's like a fully optimized. You are gonna get touched once, put in the corner, and then touch one more time, and you're dead. And you better make the read right now, or you're cooked, right? Like no other Homelander is really doing that to me, right? Like maybe I'll get touched like 3 or 4 times, and I'll get a couple of opportunities to play neutral. Not with Myth, right? It's like. When Measy is putting me in the sub blender, right, and it's like I gotta play solid nooch for 90 seconds, 3 rounds in a row for 5 games straight in order to maybe scratch out a win. It's like that's not you're not seeing that with, and like Sonic could do that, right? But like they're not doing that, right? It's like that's just not so.
What you see with these, like I said, like someone like Unjust who kind of like plays everyone, plays a bunch of different characters. It's like I noticed that like it's relatively unoptimal, but they're just so good in neutral, and they have such an understanding. They're so good at making reads and just downloading their opponents so quickly that it comes down to that. And it's not like they have all this niche tech, but they're just better. You know, they're just better, and they can just they can make that read whether they're playing Ermac, whether they're playing Noob, whether they're playing Homelander. It's like it's gonna be the same thing.
It's true, and like you still, ironically, the old guard, right? And they're not even that old, obviously, right? Like basically all of them are younger than me, but it's like Sonic, Ninja, Unjust, Kukui, Rewind, Zombat, right? Like I don't know if I mentioned Ninja already, but like obviously Ninja, like those players are like doing the damn thing exactly the same way, right? And it's the reason why they made a name for themselves in the first place. It's like just as you said, they're truly better than you, right? It's like their neutral is miles ahead of yours. You don't have what it takes yet to play at that level, so we're all just grinding up to where they've been for like the past 5 years. You know? So that's where we're at. It's like we gotta keep going.
It's so it's funny how you mentioned the MK like MJ locals. I was just thinking like. You go to the MJ local on like a weekday or whatever you have, like once a week, and you're literally going to run into the best sub in the world. You're going to run into the best Garrus in the world. You're going to run into the best Shang in the world. Like just randomly just at this tournament.
Then people wondered why like NJ was winning the team battles. I'm like, bro, no. I knew right away when they called that it was going to be state team battles. I'm like, you're going to have Dan and Kyle with Mari, Red Nose, and Wraith, right? There's no question, and I'm not there, right? And I don't belong there because I know that these guys are literally 5 of like the top 20 best players on the planet. So it's like put these guys in there, cook everybody, and then just walk away, right? It's like that's just what's gonna happen. So
I feel that.
And it's like God forbid you run into any of them at any given monthly that you go to, right? It's like you're easily running into 10 of the top 50 best players on the planet, right? Like at any given monthly, and it's just so random, right? Like the most other regions, like you'll have 2 or 3 gods, it's like just incredible top 50 players, maybe top 100 players, and then New Jersey, you have a concentration of like probably maybe 20 to 30 of the top 100 players on the planet are all in New Jersey. It's just like
like
crazy, man. If you want to level up, that's the region. It's like just
like
the way
I've said like. The densest and like probably the best region in the world for Mortal Kombat is Tri-State, like New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, just that area, and the MKNJ locals and stuff. That's the biggest concentration of talent for NRS games in the world. And you can argue with me, but I'll
Nope,
do it, please. I'll argue all day about that.
Man, I will take that one, man.
Oh man. Well, it's been awesome having you, dude. All the conversations and stuff like that. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about? Anything that we didn't bring up? That the floor is yours. What do you got to say? Anything?
First of all, I'm honored that you have me on, and this is such a video to put out with you on, and I'm glad we were able to coordinate this because I was like dying of the flu or some shit last week, and it was
really?
like
The Frosties, like sickness.
The post Frosties blues, man, they hit me way too hard. But I do want to take an opportunity just to shout everybody out that I haven't had an opportunity to. First of all, everybody in KGE, right? Like, first of all, my MK and J boys, right? Being Measy Mist, and they're obviously my goats, right? And like they were my first recruits as but that's what got me the role as recruitment lead over at KGE. So like, shout outs to them. They're absolute gods. Shout outs to MK and J in general, Arma, Wraith, Gur, everybody who goes to MK and J. You guys are all amazing. Shout outs to my Kenshi boys, Red Nose Mari, Hayate. You guys, without you, I'm obviously unable to play this game. And then big shout outs and love to KGE, Victor Freeze. Our entire roster is just so stacked and incredible, and Coach for bringing me on and giving me this crazy opportunity to, at the age of 32 as an attorney, to try and make something happen with them. So, and if whoever doesn't know, I'm a litigator. So if you don't see me online that much, I am working my butt off, man. So I am, awesome. I'm trying my best to make it onto the scene as much as I can, and we'll see where we can take it, man.
Yeah, you definitely have made your mark on the community 100% for sure. In terms of a player, skill wise, in terms of like, when I saw the KG, they made that post. It's like, what's your favorite memory with a player? I don't think I saw anyone besides you mention. Like, I'm sure there were, but it was just like, I was like, oh, Herkuhlez, that is a great person. He taught me this, he taught me that. I remember, like, honestly, I didn't like comment on it, but I should. I probably will in the next couple of days here. But mine was probably you as well at NEC, just meeting you. I think you were like, literally, like, I was like, hey, like, I introduced myself to you, and you're like, I think you were watching one of my videos. Literally, as I was talking to you.
I was standing right, dude, I was literally standing right behind you, and you came up and talked to me, and I was still watching a video, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm such a nerd, brother. You think I'm a loser, dude?
Yeah, I was like, dude, that was so. That was a good feeling. And then you helped because you played the player that I had to play because you made top 8, and then it was Stu, and I had to play him, and you gave me some advice, and it was literally like flawless. Like everything you said, it worked like perfectly, like the first try. And that got me my first big top 8.
When I eventually retire from competitive, which I'm not sure when that's going to be, it may be in 10 years. I might be Daigo Umehara, who knows. But like, when I do eventually retire, I do want to get into coaching and stay, abreast of the community and really keep everybody together, because there's nothing better than the FGC, man. I mean, Taquito said it right. Fighting games are great, right? And it's like the family that the NRS scene has created for me is so invaluable, and I just love everybody in this scene so much, and such a blessing to be able to keep doing this even until the ripe age of 32, man.
I'm right there. I'm 29, so
you're not
I'm basically, in terms of the FGC. Yeah, I mean, I think I've been on since I entered. Like people are like, I'm 21, I'm monk now. I'm like, bro, like I was an idiot when I was 21. Like watching like Kale play at like 15. Like this kid like knows more about fucking stuff than I did when I was 16. Yeah, right. And his brain's still developing. He's just like getting better as his like everything is developing. So his
brain is still growing.
Yeah. This dude's gonna be something scary because it's already something scary. So it's just like, it's just so cool to see. You mentioned like it's like a family, because it's like because I started competing in Super Smash Bros. Back in like 2016. And I mean, I still do. I still love Super Smash Bros. There's a weekly I go to. I still go to majors every a couple times a year.
I still watch you. Don't worry, man. I watch you play your melee majors, man.
Thank you, man.
Trust me. I'm in there, man. I'm a big Smash fan. I really love watching.
I just love all fighting games. Honestly, like I can watch like DBCF. I will still watch majors. I mean, I have no idea what's going on. No idea. never played the game before, but I can watch and get hyped. Like this is very entertaining.
You see cross-up mix, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's the theme of every game, man. It's like it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't change.
Watching like Marvel vs. Capcom is just, I just know when someone gets hit, they're gonna die. So as soon as like an opening happens, they're dead. Those fighting games are awesome, and like I said, That's something that really kept me like in MK is just like the community, and you always have people to play, and the community is so like on Twitter and stuff like that, and you can just find events to play in or people to play against, or there's a community if you stream. There's people who eventually will start, if you do it enough, will start coming into your stream and stuff like that. So it's just it's a great time, and if you're thinking about getting into fighting games, definitely consider Mortal Kombat. I mentioned it before, but I have friends, like I said, I'm in the Smash community, I have friends who are getting into fighting games, and they're talking about, let's do that Street Fighter Tekken. I'm like, MK? And they're like, I don't know what game yet, but definitely not MK. And it's sad because like not only the game, but the community is just so awesome. But the game is completely slept on. Like until you play it, like it's just so much fun. And every MK game, like I've been running MKX events and just 2 events, and it's just even like watching like Soup every time he posts a clip of MK9. It's like that's so cool, man. That is awesome.
Yep, still doing it to this day, man. And that's a lot of people, I completely agree with you. A lot of people are really sleeping on MK. Especially this MK, right? Like, I remember when this MK came out, and I turned to my brother as we were training together the first day. I picked up Kenshi, and I don't remember. Oh, yeah, he was on Raiden. And I told him within 5 minutes, I'm like, this is by far the best NRS game we've ever had. And people are definitely going to sleep on this game and hate it for no reason. And that's exactly what's ended up happening. It's like, for some reason, I guess NRS developed a weird stigma in the fighting game community. And I actually could not tell you for the life of me what the hell it's about, right? Because I was alive when MK9 was like the resurgence of the professional fighting game scene. It's like Evo was kind of cool until like MK9 came out, and then it was like, holy shit, everybody needs to be playing fighting games again. And it was the new kid on the block, and it was so much fun. And then for some reason, somewhere along the line, the community just started crashing on NRS games. And I really think the developer, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like, could communication sometimes be slightly more like on the minute? Sure, like maybe, right? Like maybe if that's your complaint, but that's not people's complaint. It's like the game is bad or something like that. I'm like, dude, I don't know if you've played footsies in Tekken now compared to MK now, but like, bro, I'm playing footsies in MK. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not like frauding out with like with heat, like just like, no, dude, like that's not what's going on here. It's like this is real fighting games going on here, and they finally got the formula right with like being able to cancel dashes into animation canceling with like normals, and everybody having a wave dash, so it's not like unequal, and like actual walk speed, so you can bait, toning down the projectiles finally after Injustice 2. It was like everything finally came together for like a perfect storm of what is, in my opinion, humble opinion, without a question, the best MK, right? Like, I mean, like, some people could say MK9, I appreciate that, or like, if you're a real sadist and you like playing a slot machine, MKX, sure, but like MK1 has it all, man. It's like, it's got, if you're a true fighting game player, this game has something for you, and besides that, the community's the best. So
I could definitely not agree more. And those games are still there to play. I remember like I went to kind of got me in the community as I went to Combo Breaker. I think it was 2018 I went to there for Smash, and I got eliminated for Smash. I lost at like I was playing like some of the best in my life, and then I ran into a Jigglypuff player and playing super well, and then I got up till rested at 0 and I died. So it's like, I don't know if Jigglypuff rested melee, but it's absurdly broken. If you get any percent, you die. So I was just like, dude, I was just like upset. I walked into the room, and there was just like, there was an MK9 tournament going on. There's an MKX tournament on. There's going Injustice 2. I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. I was already in competitive melee, so I was like, I like kind of understood the competitive aspect of it, stuff like that. And I was like, when the next Mortal Kombat comes out, I am, going to take competitively, and that was MK11. The rest is history, but it's an awesome scene, and there's whatever bad stigma you go to, that'll end as soon as if you go to your first local or you go to your first offline tournament. Like if you have any negative stigma, as soon as you go there, you realize everyone's super cool, everyone's super fun, and anyone talking shit is probably just salty that they lost, or
or they just haven't been playing enough fighting games to know how good this game really is. It's like this is actually a good game. I mean, like this stands neck and neck with Street Fighter and Tekken of this generation. And in listen, I play all three, and nobody would know because I spent all my time on MK. Yeah, I think that was the best. It's like
I've tried this. I've tried a bunch of fighting games as well. Like I've tried Street Fighter, tried Tekken. I played Tekken growing up as well, and it's just like MK has always stuck out to me. And I was at my friend. I run SRTV with Notskash. We grew up on the same block. His dad had like an MK3 cabinet, and like we've always just gotten the new MK game, and he was always better than me. That was the thing. He was always whooping my ass for years. Like I didn't really know combos. I would do special moves. If I could combo a special move into another special move, I would do that, or I would down two. And I was like, I could like take games off him and his brother, but they knew combos and shit. And I didn't. And then
you didn't need combos if you played Shiva, man. This is why I started on Shiva.
Stomp.
That was my character, bro. It's like stomp people with Shiva, and if they know to get out, I lose. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
fine, I'll take the L if that comes down to it. But it was also because like I was in the competitive melee, and then MK11 came out, so it's like I understood. Like, okay, I'll watch videos, get the tech, and then I'll get better, and then started getting better, and started being able to beat Skash, and then like, became better than him, and I was like, that was such a good feeling, and it was like, started entering tournaments, and then I entered tournaments, and there's like Ludi and Sunio and Kurbo at my locals, and like, it was like, okay, there's eons better than me, and then it was like, okay, I started being able to beat Ludi, I started being able to like take games and take sets, and it was like, wow, like, it's addicting, and it's like the next level, it's like, could I beat this player or this player, and then it's just like, you know how it is. That's history.
Yeah. That's the inspiration, though, right? I mean, like, my brother wasn't beating my butt. My mom wasn't saying, Herkuhlez. Like, I may not have given enough of shit to really grind it the way I did, right? But it's like now, all these years later, my brother, he may be hella successful, really great job, wife and kid, beautiful house, but at least I can beat his
ass.
Butt.
It was running. Okay, so I'll come over to the house, but I'm bringing MK, and we're gonna run some games.
Yeah,
We'll see if you can handle this Kenshi Frost block
too,
strings in
like...
Descento. Yeah. Amazing, man, amazing. That's awesome. Well, it's been an absolute blast, man. I almost don't want it to end.
Well, this is like every time I see you, Poseidon, this is exactly what it is. Our Poseidcast really just turned into one of our offline hangout sessions where it's just like running out, you know what I mean, but over Zoom. Or I guess Discord, whatever. Dude, I'm such a boomer.
Zoom.
I just want to give one more shout out to Wade Bree. I just want to give one more shout out to Bree Lanier. I am so blessed to have a partner who is so committed to my success to the point that like she got involved in KGE and now she's the community manager of our team and she TOs the weeklies, she TOs monthlies, she commentates weeklies and monthlies. She is extremely supportive of the team. She constantly is involved in the social media, in getting engagement with people, in helping me reach out to people so that I can get sets. Coming with me literally to every single tournament. Like even when we just moved to this apartment, we were like, we're gonna be able to like make it work because we have like Charlie here and there's nobody to watch her. And it's like she's committed to like we will make it work, right? Because I want you to succeed at Pro Comp, and it's like having somebody in your corner like that is just such a blessing. And Arma and the rest of the MK and J guys have already blown up my spot, and like, why have you not locked that down yet?
It's like, what do you mean? Yeah, I mean, I'm ready.
I obviously love her so much, and it's such a blessing to have her in my corner. And without her, I'm totally unable to do any of this shit. So I just want to give one last shout out to her.
Legend. We ran that 3v3 bracket at the Frosties, and that would have been able to happen without her. Because it's funny because like Dark Jack came to me with the idea. It's like, oh, we're gonna run this 3v3 tournament. Like you should tweet about it. It's like, all right, I tweet out about it, and people start coming to me. It's like, when's this happening? I was like, this wasn't my idea. Like, what do you mean me? Like, I was just like letting people know about it, and then all of a sudden I was like, all right. And then Bree was like, yeah, I'll beat the challenge. She beats the challenge, takes the sign ups and stuff like that. I'm like, perfect.
It's exactly what happened with the Nappin bracket, right? We get a bunch of top players there, and it's like, okay, how are we gonna put together this thing? Because it's like I don't want to put together a challenge right now. There's way too many people. Nappin, start putting it's like, yep, fill out the bracket, dude.
Third place in the napkin bracket, dude. That's one of the biggest accomplishments, man.
Bro, you're the GOAT, man. I almost don't want to tell you that because Zupa won, man. I can't let Zupa have that after the memes that he was making that night, bro. Oh my god.
The previous night, it was so much fun. Was he playing you? Or he was playing someone with Cyrax, and every time he got an opening, he's like, I'm the GOAT. I'm the GOAT.
Well, I just remember he was fighting BNG, bro, and he was like, "Oh, I might be your GOAT. I might be your." I was like, "I'm dying, bro."
Dude, it was so funny. It's funny. I was playing. I played him a little bit after, like he was playing that. He was playing Noob, And every time I hit him, he's like, "That's why you armored portal. That's why I armored portal. That's why I armored portal." I was like,
Bro,
"Yeah, no, I wouldn't be able to do that if you had armored portal out." You're right.
Bro, I tried. Oh my god, he was so toxic. I was playing him in warm-ups. Oh no, it was warm-ups for the 3v3 tournament, and I was playing my day one Kenshi Frost. I could not get the 2-in-1 cancel at all. And he was like, "Yeah, let me know when you want to go sub. We'll go to the
Dude, that guy's hilarious, dude. Like when I first got to Frosty's on Saturday, it was the day after the tournament. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try this team," and it was Quan Tremor.
Oh,
and
so good, dude.
every day he was like, because he would do the armor portal and then he would put on the crystalline armor, stuff like that. And he kept on saying like, "Oh, it's chilly outside. Let me layer up." Stuff like that. Let me put it on real quick. He's gonna say it was so funny. I was like dying. I was like, "Damn it, dude. I can't hit this dude. I can't put on any buttons." Dude, it's good times.
He's
Definitely.
that good, though, man. He's really that good.
Yeah,
He's
no, definitely someone I underrated when it came to, because like this recent ranking that's coming out isn't going to include 2024, or is only in 2024, so it's not going to include 2025. So there's people that are probably like way underranked, like Busman, BNG, people who want crazy runs. Of course, there's always got to be a bunch of people who do super good as soon as mess it up, make me look like an idiot. But yeah, no, there's just so many cool people in the community. It's like, and just an awesome time, man. But thank you so much for coming on. I think I've taken enough of your time, you know. But let's say if there's anything else you want to say or anybody else you want to shout out, we can do that now. But I think that's
just,
the.
Thank you so much for having me, man. It's like. I again, you may not believe it, but I like it. You can go back and watch your Poseidcast and see how many likes you have from Herkuhlez. Earlier in the past year and change, it's like all of your Poseidcasts. I'm involved in them, man.
Dude, I appreciate that.
And, I'm super excited to see your top 100 list this year. I know there's going to be a lot of sweats on there. I'm super duper hyped to see who is included this year.
Yes.
And I'm excited to see who's going to come up in 2025. And there's so many people that like I want to shout out, man, but it's just impossible. There's so like I'm just thinking of names. Sparks, but man, like they're all just popping into my head. Like, just say thank you to all these people. But like, basically anybody I've ever played with, right? Like all of anybody who's ever given me the time of day, or even just talked to me at any of these offlines or even online. You have all my love, and you're all goats, and MK is the best it's ever been, and I'm so excited for the future, man. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate you, brother.
Thank you so much for coming on, taking the time. That's gonna do it, guys. Thank you all, anyone out there who's been watching. And we'll see you guys at the next video. Peace out.